All right, everybody, welcome back. Good afternoon. We are pushing into the late afternoon now, and we have more college football evaluation videos to look at. And now in this video, we're going to look at the wide receivers that stood out for this week, and we're also going to look at some offensive linemen, specifically centers and right guards, because those are the positions where I think the Seahawks might look to upgrade in the draft. Can't imagine they look to upgrade at the other three positions because of the investment or the level of play they're getting. All right, so we did have a pretty good week for wide receivers overall. It's the second week in a row where we're going to have a very small school guy represented here, though. So the bye week is definitely eating into us a little bit. And I think that's happening a little bit on the offensive line as well, but it wasn't a bad week there. But first, let's take 60 seconds to talk about the sleeper. Before I go any further, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using the Sleeper app this year for daily fantasy football, you are missing out. Take a look on the left side of your screen. Look at all the great stuff you can pick on over there. Let's put together an entry for this weekend. Here is mine. I've got Bijan Robinson scoring an anytime touchdown. Atlanta's offense is due for a breakout after last week's tremendous disappointment, scoring 0 points. I got Micah Parsons getting at least half a sack against the Cowboys. How is he not going to get a sack in that game? It's a revenge game for him. I got Rome Odunze with at least 59 receiving yards. He's feeling it right now. He's going up against the Raiders. Think he's going to do well. And I got DK Metcalf after two relatively slow games, getting at least 51 yards. Pittsburgh's having trouble running the ball. Time for DK to bust a big play or two. Get on over to Sleeper, put together your entry. You can get a $100 match on your first deposit with promo code SBN. Terms and conditions apply. Back to the video. All right, welcome back. So we got another local guy. We got another player on my favorite team here, Denzel Boston. He was great against Wazoo. 6 catches, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not much else to say. It's not great competition, but Denzel Boston can do it all. He's got everything you could want in a receiver, I think. And if the Seahawks are picking in the later part of the first round and he's there, it's going to be hard for me to say no. Not just because he's my guy now, but because I think he's going to be really good. So Denzel Boston, he the way some of these other players are playing, he wouldn't shock me if he ends up working his way into the top half of the first. Like Antonio Williams, the Clemson guy, not great. I think he can work his way through it, but I'm not seeing the level of play I was expecting from some of the guys that I thought were going to be top 20 picks. So we'll see where it goes, but I really like Denzel Boston. USC Makai Lemon had another very good game. 8 catches, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Also did some jet sweep stuff, 2 carries, 11 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. So you have a little bit of the versatility there that you like. So that USC offense is fun. That USC offense is better than it's been in a couple of years, it feels like. Since at least Caleb left, of course, which wasn't that long ago, but it doesn't feel right to see a USC team with an offense that isn't humming. Elijah Sarat, the Hoosier, Indiana, 9 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't have target data this week, by the way, guys. I wasn't able to get that, so I'm sorry about that. But typically I do at least list the number of targets, but I believe everybody here was fairly efficient. Chris Brazel, not a huge game for him on the Volunteers. 5 catches, 62 yards, and a touchdown. And you always have to be a little suspicious of these Tennessee wide receivers. But Brazel is a new name, and I did want to spend a little bit of time on him because he's starting to move up boards and getting some attention, and I think that's worth paying attention to. And here's the small school guy, Max Tomczak, Max Tomczak, Youngstown State, starting to get a little bit of buzz as a draftable prospect. 7 catches, 116 yards this last week. So that's kind of like this year's. It could be like a Derek Young. Remember Derek Young played at Lenoir-Rhyne or something? I think it was Lenoir-Rhyne. So this could end up being another Derek Young situation. All right, so those are the receivers. Not an amazing week overall, but we did have some really top performances like Boston, like Lemon. And again, bye weeks are going to bite into this a little bit, and expect that going forward. Okay, moving on to the offensive line now. We had 3 centers that I thought stood out pretty well this week. Bryce Foster, a mainstay on this series from Kansas. Allowed one pressure, and as a center in college, even allowing one pressure is notable, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Kansas ran all across the field, 242 yards, 6 yards a carry almost. Grading was not great, but still above replacement level, and he's a good player, and I like what he's doing. Logan Jones at Iowa, another guy who allowed a pressure as center, which, don't get me wrong, I'm noticing. I'm a noticer. But 160 rushing yards by Iowa, 4.2 yards per carry. He was graded very well by PFF, 75.2 overall. That's another center that I don't think he's going to be a blue chipper. I think the blue chip centers in this class are going to be guys like Jake Slaughter, maybe Parker Brailsford, not guys that really showed up big, or in I believe one case, Brailsford didn't play at all because Alabama didn't play, but these guys are still intriguing. And at positions like center and right guard, getting a late rounder and getting something really special out of it is very viable. It's not like other positions where you need to go early or else you're not going to get anything that great most of the time. Ipani Laululu, Oregon, feels like he's going to be here every week because Oregon's offense is so good. He did allow one pressure, which for an Oregon offense, allowing any pressure at all is kind of suspect, but Oregon ran for almost 300 yards, over 6 yards a carry. He was graded very well, 73.3. So he's coming along. Then we got right guard here. We got right guard. We got two guys, not great. A lot of the guys who are notable either didn't play or didn't play very well. Cade Piper, however, was awesome for Iowa. Cade Piper, no pressures allowed, 160 rushing yards, 4.2 yards as well, same rushing yards for Logan Jones. And he was graded phenomenally well. So that Iowa offensive line, I know they don't always star in the pros. They are good, though. And there's going to be eventually that guy, like Alaric Jackson, I think, came from Iowa. So sometimes they break through. DJ Campbell, haven't talked about him in a little bit, the Texas guy, but he was good this week. No pressures allowed from that right guard spot. Texas ran all over their admittedly very weak opponent, 264 yards, and he was graded pretty well. So right guard is not super thick, but you wouldn't expect it to be. Right guard is kind of a position where everything gets devalued a little bit, so it's not surprising. But those two guys stood out for me. So that's it for the receivers and offensive linemen this week. Not great, but kind of, it's definitely something we're going to have to get used to as we go through the rest of this season, because now that we have significant numbers of teams on buys every week, there are less players to pick from. So what are you going to do? Okay. Another video coming in about an hour. There might be another video tonight as well, so keep an eye out. I'll see you guys soon. Go Hawks. Everybody have a great rest of your day.